right, everybody, let's talk about these matches. All right, so we got a few things going here. 7 out of the 8 games will be happening over the weekend. As you see, I've got most of them listed. The big issue at hand also has been the other match that's happening today, so it's not listed, and that is Houston versus Angel City. I have done a full video preview of that, but it is the matchup between two teams who are undefeated, so I will talk briefly. You have two teams who people were not necessarily expecting to be 2-0, and especially not to be two of the last 3 to be going at it. And in theory, they could still be up in the unbeaten, untied category with a win. If they tie, we still have 5 unbeaten with a tie. So a lot to be going on here. Angel City at home, looking to keep their perfect record there, really turn this into a place that will be intimidating. Houston trying to really showcase what they are capable of by going into an undefeated house and winning. I made my prediction in the previous video that Angel City will be coming away with a 2-1 win. We shall see. And otherwise, really just expecting a good, exciting game from two teams who are going to be playing motivated to make something happen. Now, getting to the actual matches that are coming up over the legit weekend. First thing up, 12 Eastern Boston time. That'll be 9 a.m. For those on the West Coast. You got the new team, Boston Legacy, facing Utah Royals. And this could be one where the viability of a season might be hanging in the balance here, and that is Utah's. They were hoping to not have a slow start, but have come away dropping all the points in the first 2 matches, despite actually not looking that bad. They had a real opportunity to take points away from San Diego last week before a red card in the waning minutes opened up a scoring opportunity and cost them the tie. So when you're looking at Utah, you're looking at a team getting somewhat desperate, I would say. I think they need to come away with the full 3 points to feel like they've accomplished something in these first 3. Whereas with Boston, they were already assuming that they were going to be struggling. They played pretty competitively with Gotham, but did not look good at all against Houston. So I think in terms of the expansion year, they do want to still try to take points off of someone, get their first racked up. And so I would expect to see them go for this one and try to play for the draw. I am going to say Utah actually figures this out and comes away with a 2-0 victory. Boston has still not scored. I think that's going to continue one more game. So I'm going to say 2-0. Utah finally pulls themselves into the realm of victory. Going on, we have Denver getting the first points for either expansion team last week. Hosting Washington. It would be 12 o'clock Mountain Time, which would be 11 a.m. in the Pacific, 2 p.m. on the East. So still fairly early as far as the team of DC is looking. They have underachieved in these first couple weeks. Coming away with nothing in the first game and then only managing a point against Louisville. But the thing is, it was somewhat predictable looking at the schedule, and this felt like the game where they were going to really show off this one. So I'm kind of in that same mindset where I think this team is a real contender to come away with the Shield title, but they're going to need to make a statement here and really demonstrate how dominant they can be. So I'm actually going to give them a 3-0 win. I think they're going to really step up on this one and try to show everyone that they are as good as advertised, that Trinity Rodman is good as advertised. And yeah, my guess is this is where we actually see Washington look a contender. If Denver is taking points off of them, then there needs to be some alarm bells going off, because you are supposed to be a contender and you need to have a victory in the first 3, especially when a couple of your games here was a team in Portland who was very uncertain a team in Louisville who was struggling to make the playoffs last year and still has a very suspect defense. And now you're playing against an expansion team. This has to be the serious one. So I think we'll see it, but time will tell. Okay, meanwhile, third match here. 1 p.m. Pacific, still 4 p.m. out in the East Coast. Kansas City going against Portland Thorns. All right, so I was genuinely in awe of what I saw happen with the Chicago Stars beating Kansas City. But it's telling that this happened because Kansas City had moved a lot of core members over the offseason. The mindset was it seemed like there was still enough of the core intact that they could just kind of reconstitute themselves. That game with Chicago and the close finish in week 1 seemed to indicate that Kansas City might have bit off a little more than they could chew, and they're still struggling to line up what they want to be this season. That could be a big advantage to take for Portland, who I feel like has been the beneficiary of teams not being fully ready to challenge them. Do I think in a vacuum Portland would be beating Kansas City if you stack them up like mid-season? I don't think so. I think Kansas City would be still on paper something to be reckoned with, but in Portland early in the season where you've been hot and Kansas City has been iffy, I could see this actually being another big win for the Thorns. That said, I am going to say they fight to a draw. This is going to be a 1-1 tie. That will be my guess. But, I mean, KC needs to demonstrate at least that they can play this road game to a draw and that they're not going to just drop all the points against a higher end team in this early going. Because if you are, time will not be your friend here. You do need to get wins early on to so that you're not trying to surge it all at the end. At the very least, it's going to hurt your chances at the Shield. You may have to just settle for playing for the Cup later. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in that one. Seattle and Louisville. Okay, so some alarm bells went off for the Seattle Reign fans. I saw just open terror in a lot of cases here because what we witnessed was Seattle Reign having an 11-9 advantage for a half hour and still dropping a game 2-0 to Portland. And for a team that was in the playoffs last year, kept a lot of pieces, seeming to think that they were in place to make a run, that was a very cold dose of reality smacking them. So, in terms of this game, I think you almost have to be playing possessed. Like, you have to be showing exactly what your team's capable of. Meanwhile, you've got Louisville riding high from taking points off of Washington in their home match. Now, looking at this, Louisville's defense is a lot more porous than Portland's. So I think Seattle does get goals, and I think in that stadium, that is a difference maker. I'm going to give Seattle a fairly high-scoring win here. I'm going to say they win 3-2. I think this is going to be an eventful game, but I do think they've been prone to mistakes, and I think Louisville's offense is strong enough to take advantage. I'm just going to give Seattle the edge in that I think they can demonstrate a little more now that they'd be in the friendly confines. They've been on the road a couple times already. The home fans are going to be trying to urge them on. I think this is where things go better. Moving on, we have North Carolina Courage and Bay FC. Carolina just came off a 0-0 draw against Gotham. I still say right now they are a top 3 contender within the league. And they are facing a team in Bay that really learned how much growth they still have to do. They're going to be short a player due to a red card, so they're serving the next game off. And she was responsible for a lot of the offense in that last game. So I think this is going to be a definitive win here. I think North Carolina pulls a 2-0 win. It's not super competitive, but I do think Bay will lock down on defense to try to mitigate damage. They know that they're in a tight one here, and this is going to be harm reduction. That would be my expectation. So moving on, San Diego. The last game on Saturday is San Diego hosting Chicago. Chicago, I think, is going to have a letdown here. They just played the game of their lives, pulled off a huge win against the Shield winners in KC, and now you're going cross country back to the West Coast to face San Diego Wave, who have not looked like themselves. They've been dominant but dropped all 3 points to Houston, and then very nearly dropped points again to Utah last week. They need a palate cleanser here. I think Chicago struggles to score on the road, and my guess would be San Diego comes with. I think there's still something off about them. I'm gonna give them a 1-0 victory. They'll get one, but they have not looked in sync offensively, and so this win will be there. But yeah, something is definitely up. We'll see if my expectations prove true. And then the capper, the one game on Sunday will be Gotham FC facing Orlando. This is at 4 p.m. And in this case, Orlando needs to prove that someone besides Barbara Banda is going to be the offense, because they have kind of relied on her a great deal in the first match where they managed a goal in defeat and then managed another goal in a draw. This has been a rough start for Orlando because it seems like not all cylinders are firing yet. Gotham is in a bit of an issue offensively as well. They have only managed 1 goal in 2 matches, and defensively they look great. But yeah, this has been problematic. I do think they will score here. I think that their defense is strong enough to hold off Orlando, but I don't think we're having a high-scoring match. Again, I'm going to say 1-0. Gotham has not shown me that they are a consistent victory threat the way they are when they were hot going into the playoffs last year. So I think they get their 3 points. I do still think that they are stronger than Orlando, but they will have much to work on in these coming weeks. Anyway, this will be the last week before I officially start power ranking these teams. So I am monitoring this one. I have an idea of where I think everyone kind of is at this moment, but I'd want to let the expectations play out in another match first. So you shall see what happens. We got all 8 games going, all 16 teams in action. I will be, over the weekend, putting up a recap of the 5 midweek games, and then the recap of the weekend games will be out on Monday. So look forward to all of that. I still am sorting out the live. I will send it out on Blue Sky when we know which one it is. I should have YouTube ready to go this time, so there will not be a surprise move to Twitch this time around. All right, with that said, hope you all enjoy the matches. Have fun this weekend, and let's go Angels.